Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I hope to piece together the final bits of the battery and engine loom. If this works, maybe I'll be able to then start the engine. That'll be exciting. Okay, let's start off with attaching the earth cable from the engine to the chassis. I'm mounting it from one of the air conditioning bracket screw holes, which is an M10 with a 1.5 thread pitch. I got 16mm length ones, so they might be a bit long for the hole, but let's find out. I bought this ready-made earth cable from Super Cheap Auto. It was the shortest one they had, but it still may be a tad too long. I was trying to choose between these two bolts on the Mad Dad cross member, seeing which one would be a better fit. In the end I settled for the one just above. It looks like it's going to work a lot better. I've got a bolt that fits right over it snugly. Plus I can run the earths from the two thermo fans at the front directly to this one as well. Twist this fucker around like this. So there's my engine earth. We got the earth at the battery too. As you can see, I've got to earth this and that from the fan. So what I'll do is run them together and probably stick it up there too. I've got the power running there from the engine loom. So I've just used the same blue wiring for the earths. Doesn't really matter to me. It's a bit messy, but I'll just loop all these together. Just tidy that up with some tape and run these two earths up to, if you can see there, yep, the other earth that I just did, the engine earth. There's a couple of holes here that were for these tabs, I think, but they obviously don't fit in that way because we got this, so that holds it in place a lot tighter. So I might just put some good old zip ties in here and just zip tie these wires underneath there. Is that too haphazard and too ugly for people on YouTube? I don't know. I'm gonna run with it for now. I could trim and shorten some of these wires a bit, or just fucking bunch them all together. Gonna run the electric wire for the lights over here, probably behind here anyway, so I may as well just stick these up here, or sort of in the same spot. So knew that would happen. This double connector thing that I bought at JCar didn't work. Maybe better if I soldered it on. Anyway, so I had to reconnect the wires, connect both of them into one earth here, and now we'll just connect that up. So I ran it through. Probably can't see in the dark, but I ran the wires up through that little gap. And yeah, now so we're under here, and we'll just stick it on, and there you have it. Leave a comment below, guys, if you think that earth is going to work, if it's a good place for an earth, if there's anything I should consider or think about. I've put the wiring loom that Jim sent me, plugged it in up here, run it down there. Boo boo boo. Injector's all plugged in, outlet control valve plugged in. This, gotta just get it to the oil sender. This wire up to the starter solenoid. I've already got the power into the solenoid from the wire engine loom. The rest goes through there. So this long one that I can run, I suppose, underneath there, just thread it through. I've got some room and stick it into here somewhere. Basically, it is a intake air temp sensor. So I have to speak to my tuner about if we really need one or not. It's just, it fits a GM air intake one. You've probably seen these before. Because it's a non-turbo motor, I really don't know if there's any point. So we'll see. This blue and yellow and blue wire is to go the oil sender on the engine block. So I had to get a SR one of them. It's in this little baggie here. All the fun stuff inside. He's given me a lot of length there, so it's unnecessary. So I'll see how much I need and then leave a bit extra and then cut the rest off. Shortened and fitted the oil sender connector. Although this all looks messy here, so I'm going to take off the idle air control valve, try and fit it underneath and see if it will fit or not, and if it will if these two plugs will plug on. So I've tucked away. It's a bit of a tight fit. It's not too bad actually, but with this stupid ISCV spacer tube that's going to come here into the bottom of the intake. If you can see it any better under here. If you can see it any better under here, basically this hose here is going to connect to that and work with the idle air control valve, hopefully. But I really want to remove it. It's just fucked. There's not much room here and it still looks ugly. It's just hidden away, so it looks better. Everything connects, that connects, that connects. All the injectors connect, that connects. This one I believe is an earth and that one's to the starter. Okay, so that's not bad. I tucked it away. This one, I'm still not sure what that spare one's for. And then this one for the CAS and the coil on plug setup for later on. Alright, so you can see I've ran the thick cable from the back of the alternator and you can sort of see that it's, where is it? You can sort of see that it's all the way to the starter, and then there's the one from the starter that runs all the way to the terminal stud that currently is sitting inside the cabin. So what I'm thinking is, see where that black cable is coming from, that's obviously from the battery, so maybe just stick the positive terminal stud somewhere there under the brake booster. And yeah, I don't know, maybe that's not a bad idea, maybe it is a bad idea. Installed, but before I trim that long battery cable, let me mount the fuse. 200 amp panel mount circuit breaker, so we're going to fit that on the power cable from the battery. So as you can see, it's pretty heavy duty. All we really need to do is run the power cable in there, out there, and just this has to be mounted near the battery somewhere, so we can run the power cable into it and then run the rest as it is now just through there. So I've got to cut through it with some heavy duty scissors and then fit this fucker in under the tray. I think that's an okay spot. It's also going to hold the cable up from burning on the exhaust, even though it's going to be in a fairly hot spot anyway, so I don't know. I mean, fuck, all these wires are supposed to be capable of dealing with a bit of heat. I'll put some heat wrap around that part of the exhaust too, just matching up with the rest, just to keep safe, I guess, or you know, from melting. And we'll just monitor it over time once I'm driving it and make sure that it's okay. Alright, I'm going to snip this wire and put it in. Alright, nicely done. I took out the it came with a sleeve inside the fucking fuse. The wire's just too big for it, so I took that fuse out. I couldn't fit it in, so I took it out. I wasn't sure that hex head screw would screw in, but it did, so fucking perfect. Alright, let's do the other side and then move on. Okay, that's mounted finally. Fuck, that's been the bane of my existence for a while, getting under here. You really need a hoist for this kind of shit. They're those sleeves inside the fuse, in case you ever buy this one, just for reference. Alright, next up, just mounting this battery cable to the, I'm gonna block it there, just mounting the battery cable to the power fuse there. Don't know how well you can see there, but I swapped the thickness of the wires around, so the thicker one going from the power terminal to the starter, and then from the starter to the alternator, slightly thinner one, but had it the other way around. The guy that made my wiring loom put the thinner one on from the starter to the power terminal, so I'm hoping it should be alright this way. Let me know if it's should be another way. Can you see in there? Let's see if you can see that. It's fucking pain in the ass to get your hand in there or anything in there to screw down tight, so I've sort of got it there, but I still need to tighten it up a bit more. Just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to run with this one on the right. The lug on the left is only 10 mil diameter, the opening, and it just won't fit that battery cable. I got it from J-Car, I went there twice today. This was the best I came up with, which is, I think it's 12 mil. It's supposed to be for 2 gauge, but I mean, fuck. Looks a lot more flimsy than this one, that's for sure. So tomorrow I'll go to somewhere super cheap or Repco or whatever and get a 12 mil lug if they have one. But for the purpose of this, I'll just crimp this on and that's it. Next vid, I'll take it off and put a proper solder on a proper 12 mil wide lug. But anyway, this one will do for now. Let's stick it onto the positive terminal. Okay, so the power cable from the battery is fitted. Obviously that starter motor cable's fitted too. Call me crazy, but that fucking little, I mean, I like the idea of the little positive terminal there, but let's try and zoom in. Is it just me or is that like, is that like too small? I mean, how much bigger can it get? I don't know, but fuck. I've still got to fit on that from the fuse box, the engine loom fuse box. There's 2 wires that join onto it. I don't know what they are, they're power for, I think they're for the auxiliary things. I have to run into this, so that'll be on next episode. I also need to run the power cable. If you look here, plugged from the alternator, which I'll do next episode as well. There's one that runs from there to the power, and then one from there all the way to the back of the dash to the charge light. So I'll do that next episode as well. And then I've got to run the power cable from the power steering pump, but I think I'll just run that direct to the battery. We'll see. I don't know how I fucking want to fit everything else on. I'll run all those. That's all for next episode, and then I'll put power steering pump oil into the power steering pump and we'll fire it up, and as long as the battery works, we'll find out if the actual power steering pump works. That'll be cool actually, so I'm really looking forward to that. That's for next episode, so stay tuned for that. Alright, see you then, have a good one.